Welcome students for online classes. So today we'll continue with the chapter 9, that is tertiary sector, which is also called as the service sector. In the earlier session we had studied about the transportation regarding all the four transportation: roadways, airways, waterways and railways. So in this particular video we'll study about the communication and banking system. So first let's know about the communication part. So what is communication? Basically, communication means sending and receiving messages. It can be you send your messages to any kind of person, you share your information to any kind of person, where the other person will receive any kind of information which you give. This is known as communication, where it is very much essential for our modern times. Why? When the people live far away or when they meet face to face, what is very much important, communicating or conversating to each other becomes a very major role in our human life. So communication plays a vital role in our life. So what includes under communication? Maybe the posts, maybe when I come from the earlier process, what happens, first there was the post, and later on there was telegram, telephones, broadcasting, nowadays cell phones and computers. There are n number of communicating systems which have been arising in nowadays, or I can tell it as it is been upgrading nowadays. Okay, so the first thing under communication is about the postal communication. So this is one of the oldest means of communication when you compare to all other means of communication, which was introduced in the year 1837. So what happens under postal communication? What do you do? So nowadays in the current era, what do? We send the emails to, maybe to your friends, maybe to any of your relatives. So in the current era we use it as email. But when I go to a bit earlier, what happens, you in the sense your parents were using this postal communication, where you write your messages or any kind of information in a letter and you send to your fellow mates or to your relatives or to your friends, so which will be easier for your uh, uh, friends or relatives to read. When there was no proper technology in the year 1837, postal communication used to play a greater role, because the sharing of information or sharing of any kind of messages which you wanted to send it to others, which had been a greater importance. So as the upgradation happened, what was the new things or what was the progress under postal communication? First and foremost, under postal posts, what is important? Stamp is very much important for you to send the post from one place to another. So in the year 1852, what happened, postal stamp was introduced, so that the post or any kind of letters which could have transferred from one place to another. Later, when there was upgradation, there was postal department introduced in the year 1854. In the same way, the railway mail service. Now what is this railway mail service? It is nothing but transportation of any kind of maybe your postal things, your letters to one place to another with the help of railways. In the earlier process, people used to go from one place to another and used to give the letters to their house if their house address is given, or the people used to give it to the postal offices so that they could give, or they could post that to their houses. So later on, what happened, railway mail service also started. In the same way, air mail service also started, which where we write the letters in the aerodomes. And so because of that, what happened, the people, your letters could have been transferred to other countries also, which where your relatives or your friends would have stayed. So in the year 1911, what happened, air mail service also started. And lastly, in the year 1972, what happened, the major introduction of pin, that is postal index number, was taken into consideration, or introduction or establishment was made. Why a pin code is very much necessary? It is very much necessary for the people or the postal officers to know about a particular place. Say for example, there are n number of pin codes. Say there will be a pin code for Madikeri, there will be a pin code for Kushanagar, there will be a pin code for Mysore. In the same way, in Mysore there are n number of localities, n number of areas. So in the same way, for each and every area there will be a each pin code specified, or unified. So because of this, what happens, it will be even easier for the postmans to post the letters to their homes. So this is basically about postal communication. So the next thing is about telecommunication. After writing the letters, what happened later on, after some years, the telecommunication started. Now, what is this telecommunication? It is sending the information or communicating with each other with the help of what? With the help of what kind of technologies? Maybe through wire, that is with the help of telephones, maybe radio in the sense you receive information from one particular, maybe any kind of news, maybe any kind of entertainment process, maybe any kind of songs you will receive. So this is also a kind of communication. And even the electromagnetic system. So telecommunication which helped the people to get even more closer. So what happened under telecommunication, the people could have called their fellow mates and speak to them for a longer period of time. So what is STD, ISD, fax? STD is subscriber trunk dialing, which is applied only inside India. ISD is international subscriber dialing, which is applied to inter countries, where you can call, where if you stay in India, you can call to your fellow mates who lives in America, maybe USA, any kind of places. So now lastly, what is this fax? Fax, it is a kind of machine where you send the messages to your maybe professional message, maybe any kind of personal message, maybe if you want to send your friend that you have done a beautiful portrait today, so you can send all these messages with the help of fax. Fax is a kind of machine which sends the messages from one place to another. So with the upgradation of technology, with the generations past, what happened, even internet service also we got. Maybe from the era of 2G till now, that is of 5G, what happens, what the era is been increasing, and even the upgradation adoption of new technologies also been made. And from where do you get all the necessary information? You get the internet. You, if you have the internet facility, what do you do with the internet facility? Maybe you WhatsApp your friends, maybe you text your friends, maybe if you have any doubts on any kind of topics, what do? You Google things. So from where do you Google things? This is done with the help of World Wide Web, that is www. So what is www? It is a collection of 1,000 of computer, business and millions of people throughout the world linked together in a service. So with the help of this internet service, what happens, even the people, even if they are living far away from you, they will be seen as they are nearby you, or you can communicate to them each and every time. So because of this, in the year 1999, what happened, new telecommunication policy was started, and it is also told that India's second largest network when it is compared to the whole world. So as there are n number of people in our whole economy, that is when I compare to India to any other places, what happens, India has a larger population and it has a larger links to the overall world. So the communication process plays a very important role, not only when you talk to your fellow mates or to your relatives, it is also important during the business process. Maybe when you go to schools, what happens, you come to your home, the teacher might give you any kind of homework, so at that particular point of time you might have some doubts. So what do? You might communicate to your friend, you might communicate to your teacher, or you can even browse about the topic. So communication process, sending and receiving of information, plays a very important role in our economical process. So the second topic is about banking. So, what is the meaning of banking? What happens under banking? What do you do in the banking? Banking is defined as the business activity for accepting and safeguarding money owned by other individuals and entities, and then lending out this money in order to conduct economical activities such as making profit or simply covering the operating expense. So, basically, what banks do, you go to any particular, for example, I'll take a bank, SBI, State Bank of India. So what do, I am a customer, I am an individual, I earn salary or I earn money. Maybe my father will give me pocket money, maybe my relatives, when they come to my home, they will give me pocket money, maybe my grandparents, maybe my mother. At this particular point of time, what will I do with the huge sum of money? I can't keep it in my home, maybe because of robbery or because of theft. risks. So at this particular point of time, I will go to the bank and I will deposit my savings in the bank. So at this particular point of time, I will be having a security, so that I may think that my money is safe now. So whenever you need, you can withdraw the amount, and when it is not necessary, as you are very small, the need age of money is very much less in this particular age. So when you grow up, what happens, the amount or any kind of money will be increasing. You want to buy that, you want to buy chocolates, you want to buy eatables, you want to buy a car. So at this particular point of time, when you start saving from this particular point of time, what happens, it will be a helpful thing for you in future. So banks play a important role in securing your own money. So after securing this money, what will happen, yearly you will get a interest of 0.4 percentage. So later on, what happens, even the banks will give the loans to the people who need them. So from where will they give the loans? This loans is being given from our deposits. Our deposit, in the sense, I will go and deposit my money, maybe 10,000, to a particular bank. So what will that bank do? In the same point of time, you will come to the bank and you will ask for any kind of loan, for example, house loan. So at this particular point of time, what happens, the bank will approve the loan. From where will they give the money? They will keep a percentage of my savings. That is, I had saved 10,000 in my bank, so they will keep a 2 percentage of the money in the bank, and leftover money will be given as a loan. So in spite of loan, what will the bankers will take? The bankers will take a percentage of interest also, which will be favorable for the banks, and which will be even favorable for the individuals who had saved in that bank. So banks play a major role, not only in making profit, even in making the where the people can even pay the operating expenses. And one major thing what banks do, if you personally want all of your expenses to be deducted from the bank, or you want bank to make all the payments when you are busy in your other business, so at this particular point of time, bank will also play as a middleman and do all the necessary things, so which will be even easier or helpful for you in person. So this is about banking system. So the objective of banking is where the banking system is used to provide the security and confidence to the in the economy. And even what happens, it provides financial services to public by and business, ensuring economic and social stability and sustainable growth of the economy. So what happens when, for example, I'll give that you might go and take loan. So why do you want to take loan? Because you want to make a business. So you want to make a business, you want to make profit. So at this particular point of time, when you in individual grow, automatically, when many people grow by doing any kind of business, by doing any kind of work, automatically our economy will also grow. So banks play a major role in providing the financial securities to the end customers. So now the next thing is about credit under banking. So what is credit? Buying something on credit and paying it in future, that is known as credit. Say for example, I will go to a shop, I will buy a sofa, so it will be worth of 30,000. So at this particular point of time, I will tell the shopkeeper that I will either pay in installments or I will pay my money in future. So the shopkeeper will agree for that and he will give that sofa to me. So at this particular point of time, what are installments? You either pay 10,000 every month, that is known as installment, or within a month after buying your particular sofa, you pay that 30,000 in bulk. So that is known as credit, where you won't pay anything in that particular point of time. In spite of that, you pay in future, maybe because of shortage of money, or maybe because of any kind of expenses you wanted to incur. So credit also plays a major role. So now the importance of banking. So in all these things, all these importance, maybe is supply of institutional credit, fulfillment of credit needs of industrial sector, distribution of funds, promotion of capital formation. Banks encourage the right type of industries, advances to priority sectors, credit to weaker sections. All these things tells only one thing, that whenever you need any kind of financial security or whenever you need any kind of help, what happens, banks play a major role, or banks play a important role. So what happens when there will be a surplus money in one particular bank, and there will be a additional funds in that bank, so what will that bank do, they send the money to the deficit areas. So what is deficit areas, where there is no money, where there is no proper production, or there is no proper savings in that bank, so that there will be a balancing structure in all the banks. So it is one of the better thing when there is distribution of funds, where the surplus money will be given to the deficit areas. And even what happens, when you want a capital formation in the sense, when you open up a new business, you want a kind of money. From where will you get money? You might get money with the help of loans. So at this particular point of time also, banks play a major role in giving you the financial security or any kinds of loans and advances. So this is about the importance of banking, where the maybe the credit given to the weaker sections at a low percentage of the rate, which helps to the, maybe for the agricultural fields, maybe for the small scale units, which will be helpful for the end customer. And the next thing under banking is, when we compare to our Indian banking system, what are the things done under Indian banking system? It is segregated into organized banking and unorganized banking. Under organized banking, we talk about what organized banking does. It refers to that part of Indian banking where overall control is being made by the RBI, where RBI is called as the central bank of our India. Okay, so in the same way, there will be RBI in USA, there will be RBI in Arab countries. So in the same way, uh, when I tell RBI, it is compared only to our India. There will be central banks in overall every countries, but there will be having their separate names for the central bank. So when I compare to our India central bank is called as RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India. So what does Reserve Bank of India does? It is a apex, or it is a main bank under India. So under the controllance of RBI, all the other banks comes under RBI. Say for example, it is a controller of money supply, where all the, maybe from the printing till the distribution of money is being done to other small banks. What happens, RBI does all these things. RBI is a main thing, or it is a main pillar where comes all the other commercial banks. Now what are these commercial banks? Maybe SBI, the Bank of Baroda, Vijaya Bank, Syndicate, Canara, all these banks are the commercial banks which comes under RBI. RBI is the central bank of our own India. So what the head of RBI is the governor of our India, and the headquarters is situated in Mumbai. So the components of organized banking, so what does organized banking mean? Where the controller who controls the overall banking system, that is done by RBI. So the components under organized banking is the commercial banks, so which was established under Indian Companies Act of 1913. So the what does it mean? What does the commercial bank mean? The banks which provide services like accepting deposits, advancing loans, credit creation, and financing trade and commerce, etc. Banks do n number of works. They take the deposits, they do the demand drafts, they give the checks, they give the ATM facility, they give the loan, they give credit, they provide finance to all the people at a low percentage of interest. So all these necessary things, when I tell SBI, it is a commercial bank which comes under RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India is a central body, where under that what comes, the commercial banks in the sense SBI, Bank of Baroda, Syndicate, Canara, Karnataka Bank, all these things comes under commercial banks. So under commercial banks, it is segregated into many types. So the first thing under that is public sector banks, which is owned and managed by public or the government. So overall thing is done by the government. For example, SBI and still 19 national banks which comes under the public sector bank, where normally as other banks, maybe when I compare to public sector banks and private sector banks, all the banks does the same work. But when you tell the public sector bank, I tell that SBI comes under public sector bank, Canara Bank comes under public sector bank. So there are maybe ICICI, HSBC, HDFC and Axis Bank. There are n number of banks in our economy, so everything will not come under government. So only 19 nationalized banks which comes under the government sector. So the next thing is about the regional rural bank. What does this regional rural bank? It is sponsored, or it is a helpful thing for the agricultural people, which is sponsored by the public sector, that is by the government people or the government officials, which comes under government thing. And the objective of the regional rural bank, the word itself tells regional, which is situated in the regional areas. Which, why are they situated in regional areas? Because to provide credit to the weaker sections of rural areas, rural in the sense the village areas, to provide loans or credit to, maybe to build up a house, maybe to set up an industry, maybe for the agricultural process, maybe to buy seeds, maybe to buy pesticides, fertilizers. For all these things, what happens, regional rural bank helps the end people. Why? And helps the end people to grow themselves, to have a development in their own personal structure. The next thing is about private sector banks, which is owned by the private bankers or the private individuals who lives in the economy. So there are 23 private banks with 24,660 branches. So what are these branches? For example, I take the example of SBI. So what happens under SBI? When I compare, in Madikeri there is one branch, in Kushalnagar there is one branch. The headquarters might be in Bangalore, or it can even be in Mumbai. So in the same way, there will be n number of branches which is segregated in overall all the places, so which will be even more helpful for the people to do the deposits, or to ask any kind of credit, to ask any kind of financial facilities to the weaker section. So it is also, the private sector banks is also called as the new generation tech savvy banks. Now what is this tech savvy or the new generation? Why is it not applied for the government? Why? Because when you compare to the private sector banks, what will be their main motive? The main motive will be of making profit. So at this particular point of time, what happens? They start upgrading technologies once the anything is comes under the market. Where once anything which is coming in the market, what happens? Automatically these private enterprises, what will they do? They adopt the new technology so that they attract more and more customers. So this is one of the major role where the private sector banks, which will be having a major profit making in one particular year. So the next thing is about the foreign banks. So what happens, basically foreign banks which will operate in our India, that the branches will be in India and the headquarters will be situated in foreign countries only. For example, HSBC Bank, the American Indian Bank. So all these banks, what do? They are situated in there. For example, when I take HSBC Bank, this is about the Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank. So what, in the place Hong Kong, what happens? The main branch, main headquarters is situated, and the branch is being put all over India, put all over the other countries in the whole world. So these are known as the foreign banks. By why are these banks are taken into consideration? Because they bring the latest technology. For example, any kind of technology which has not come to India but which has come to other countries, the other countries where there are branches, they will adopt that particular technology and they will spread that technology in their branches. So because of this, what happens, foreign banks will have a good profit making area, or they will be having a better adoption of technology, or better upgradation of technology. And lastly, they are responsible for making the Indian banking system more competitive and efficient. how there will be Indian banking system more competitive and efficient. Say for example, when that particular bank adopts any kind of new technology, automatically other banks will get to know about the new technology. So with the help of that, what happens, Indian banking system will also be competitive to that foreign bank, so that even our Indian banks should also upgrade, they should also know about the new technology, and they will even become the efficient with the help of maybe with the training process, maybe with the adoption of new software when it comes to the society. So foreign banks even help in all these process. And lastly, about the development banks. Now this development banks, it is not for the deposit process, it is as the name itself tells, the development banks, which helps in the development of the individuals. It gives loans, as told, it gives the medium and long term finance, maybe to set up an industry, maybe any kind of agricultural products to be purchased, maybe for any kind of, maybe if you want to build a house. What happens at this particular point of time, when there is development of any kind of individual, these developmental banks helps them in a better way, so which will be helpful, even helpful for the end people. So what happens, the provision of funds to private sectors by giving loans and advances. So from where will they give the loans and advances? They give the loans and advances by subscribing the shares and debentures of the companies. So what do the companies do? Companies will give their, sell their shares, so by that they will receive their capital, they will receive the money to take further their company, take further in the sense the company needs some sort of money. So at this particular point of time, that how will they get get that money? They will sell their shares, by in return they will ask for the money. So even banking system does all these necessary things. So because of this, what happens, there will be a proper development in the economy. So this is about the organized banking. Now we'll study about the unorganized banking. So unorganized, organized banking, which was controlled by RBI, but unorganized banking, it is not regulated or controlled by RBI, where the particular individuals does the kind of banking. Now how the individuals does the banking? Maybe the chits, the nidhis, the credit which will be given to the money lenders. When I come to the chits and nidhis, what happens, there will be a 10 group of 10 people who will be of a group. What will they do? They pool money in the sense everybody will be putting maybe 10,000. So if there are 10 members, what happens, there will the money 10,000 per head, which will be increased to 1 lakh. So this 1 lakh will be given to any particular individual, so that that individual will grow, or if they want to make any setup, they want to do any kind of business, they can do with that money, and slowly steadily they can repay that 1 lakh money to their fellow mates. So this is about chits and nidhis. And second, about the credit and money lenders, what happens, there will be a small percentage of interest which will be given. For example, if I need money, I will be coming to you, I will be asking you for 10,000. So you will tell that I need a 2% hike, that will be the interest you will take from me. So I will agree for that, and I will take the 10,000 from you. So what will be the 2%? The 2% will be of 2,000. No, so at this particular point of time, so what will I do? I will give the 10,000. After few months after few months later, what happens, when I get money, I will give that 10,000 with the interest of 2%. With the interest of 2% will be 2,000, which will be a increased money for you, which will be of 12,000. So this also plays a major role, which will be even helpful for the needy people when they need money very badly. And it is the unorganized banking, they are largely operated in rural areas, and mainly when they own their own funds. So when there will be a big rich people in any kind of small village, so at this particular point of time, maybe all the agriculturalists go and ask him the money, so he can be the money lender. Majorly under villages, in rural areas, unorganized banking is being made. So this is about the banking system. Thank you, students.